we are going to stop this episode here. And I really think that I had something. Yes, the last thing I had to say, contextual, on your mention of Tomb Raider. I just wanted to say that the newest Tomb Raider 2013, whatever the name actually is total crap.
Okay, I haven't played that one, but
never played. It's absolute shit. Unless, of course, I don't know, maybe on the console it's better. But yeah, that's only one of my complaints about the QTEs, where the icons for whatever button you have to press are completely like very small and very dark and very.
Okay.
That's really bad, but the whole game is bad. So yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, because actually I took the release of the game as a opportunity to play through every single Tomb Raider game gradually over the year again, and currently I'm in the fourth game, so I have ways to go before getting to the final game. And
well,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it has to do with the fact that I have never played the Tomb Raider game before, but I really hated that game. And
okay.
I like recently downloaded a bunch of new games to just kind of study from a map designer perspective, and I was really dead set on beating them no matter how much I dislike them, but I just couldn't. I just deleted that game midway through. Also, on this elevator, it would be really funny for you to do here, seeing as we have little space here between the elevator and the wall. And I'm not saying that make us able to fall there, but that would be also funny. I'm saying, you know the trick on like an elevator platforms, or well in Doom, when you can just kind of step a bit over the ledge and like use the line depth below you and make the lift lower. So
yeah,
if it would be really funny if you had like maybe widen this space for 8 more pixels, so that I still wouldn't fall down, but I could step over the ledge here somehow. And if I pressed like from this side on this line depth of the elevator, it would lower all the way back down there for a second.
Okay, but it's not a traditional elevator.
Yeah, it was.
I wanted to prevent the player from like triggering the elevator and then jumping back and being in a dead end, so I really just added scripting to it, so you cannot really accidentally trigger the elevator without stepping on it. So it's not really.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, but because I kind of this gap here, this really makes me. I don't see like a reason for it to be here other than to allow me to using this really stupid maneuver to trigger the elevator and go back in case if it was still the same level, in case I want to go back. But yeah, if it was like an actual thing that someone did on the map, I would be really angry with it, because it's an obscure. Well, it's not really. I assume many people know to do this, but it's really a stupid thing to do, because it doesn't makes no sense whatsoever. Also, this lamp isn't really standing on the whole way on the ledge here.
Yeah, it's a general issue with sprites, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, general issue with you could have like moved it to 8 units again here and But yeah, even to see that you have to go here in this gap. So once again, if the gap wasn't there, I wouldn't probably even notice that. But that's such a minor. Like, you remember last episode where that dude, whose username I am not going to try and pronounce, where he noticed the columns on like the entrance past the graveyard. If you remember, there's like a lot of green columns.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Made the comment how they were too wide.
It's a fair issue, yeah. That ledge was probably too thin.
Yeah, that's.
So.
I don't know. Of course I would have noticed it eventually, but I wouldn't really ever commented on that unless he brought it up, which he did. So yeah, that's. This is really. I don't know why I'm nitpicking so much here. Also, it seems that the sprites aren't symmetrical because this one is hanging over the edge and this one isn't. Curious. Huh. I know that the barrels, like the Fleming barrel, is completely non-symmetrical, so if you like look at it from one side and take note of where it stays on like the floor texture, and you move around and it is going to stay in a completely different place because it rotates around like the edge of itself.
Yeah.
That's really dumb.
Well, and there are cases where I should have cared more, probably in the level you mentioned. These ledges where the pillars were, they're probably too thin. But yeah, in this case, it's really just nitpicking.
Well, in throughout this world so far, even though I like it and enjoy playing it, I will not hesitate to say that there is a lot of cases all around where you should have cared more. But once again, as I always said, that it doesn't really deter from my enjoyment, but if we are being really fair, there is a lot of room for improvement, like texture alignment. Some rooms are maybe a bit, even for my taste, a bit empty and such.
That's true, but I can only react to, you know, concrete examples and not just the overall you should have cared more is just something I cannot really say anything more.
I think sometimes I'm pointing these things out, and when you're here you usually agree that just like I hope you weren't offended in any way when I wrote in the thread that when you first guessed that you were exploring all the ways of saying I forgot to give a fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can and I will respond to every single example you point out, but I'm really hard pressed to just say something to this general, you should have cared more in a lot of places. It's just very complicated to say something to that.
Yeah, it's like, and before anyone mentions, I'm aware that once again I'm walking around the final room for like half an hour and talking, but I wanted to bring it up. There was like wait, what were we talking about? Wow, my memory is going completely. I wanted to say something and I completely forgot what were. Yes, a thread about like comments on the ID Games archives where some people argue that when you read about your map, someone says it's shit. That it's still useful criticism because it lets you know that the map, something in the map is bad, which sounds kind of stupid, but I guess some people really think that. And in this case, this map said I could, of course it would have taken a really long time and much more effort than I'm willing to spend, but I could probably like walk around looking at every single thing that I think should have been fixed in some way, and therefore you would be like forced to consider them all and respond to them all, and but I'm too lazy to do that.
Well, it's not that simple. I mean, you don't really know how much work I put into every single level last year. I spent so many hours fixing so many things that you don't even see now because I fixed them. And there are obviously many more things that I didn't see anymore or just was too time pressed to actually get to them. It's really not as simple as just saying you were just not giving a fuck or just being too lazy.
Yeah,
I spent so many hours. I had 1 month off work. I didn't take it off work because of the project, but I spent an entire month of last year just fixing levels.
Yeah,
so I just want to say that when you spend many years on a project, you just tend to not see every single detail anymore in every level.
Yeah, I guess it's understandable, but I don't know, that's a position that I cannot really imagine myself being in anymore, because when I map I just keep an eye out for these things immediately. This doesn't require me to like go back and fix them in most cases, so I really can't imagine myself like fixing really old levels of mine and not noticing something. Maybe, as I said, maybe you just even though you're working a really long time on this, maybe you just didn't have like an eye for all these kind of things that just jump out at me as I'm playing. Because right here I can like probably come up with 10 things that I don't like. But it is too long.
Basically, it was some people suggested that I should have like scraped the first 20 levels altogether and just worked more on the final chapter.
That's encouraging.
But yeah, that's very easy to say from outside, but when you've worked on these levels for a decade and on the story and on the immersion and on the idea, you cannot just throw a decade of work away.
Yeah, I can completely understand, seeing as how in my big project this map 1 is still the very first map I ever like started in Doom Builder ever. And I still, but I'm fixing it up every so often when my standards I notice that they are higher, and I come back to that map and I still fix. But yeah, I can just find it in myself to throw out a couple of early maps that kind of stand out in the world. To be, if I'm honest with myself, they do stand out in style and in everything. But I'm still trying constantly to go back to them and fix them up, and I can understand that. But just I don't know. Like this whole, for example, if I'm talking this area, I would never like even try to make a foresty area in this way. This just flat walls of equal height of dirt and the two standard sprites that Doom has for trees. It would never even cross my mind to try and make a forest out of these resources in any way. But I guess there's just I don't know, it's a matter of perspective. Maybe for some people it's just whatever, it's fine, completely fine, and it's not like I'm not saying that you have to adhere to my standards all the time because they are the correct standards. I'm just saying that I expect that most people have the kind of standard that maybe you didn't have when you were making this. I'm trying my hardest to sound polite. Hopefully you don't take anything that I say here in a bad way.
I don't, but it's a very complex topic, and I think we could discuss it for an hour without really coming to a conclusion.
Let's do it right now. Running for an hour in this area, in this I'm kidding, of course. But yeah,
I think one very, very interesting comment of like a Doom veteran in the Doom World Forum was that DTS-T is a good example that people should start out small, and simple. And this is, I can absolutely subscribe that, but I didn't do it. So I came out with a megawatt, and that's what I got as a reaction, and that's fine. And I will not, the next project, this is one of the goals for me for the next project, is to not work on it for 1.5 decades.
To just have time in your life to finish it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's many people when they are faced with like this new possibility of making like a whole game or making levels for a game. And I can answer because I was like that when I started to. I wanted to make something huge and amazing, and I had these ideas for these big storylines and big campaigns and stuff like that. Nowadays I can kind of see, I can absolutely see the use and the advantage of making multiple like single maps and releasing them one by one, just to practice a lot and to receive a lot of feedback before you do anything really big that you want to pour your soul and heart into. But I don't know, I hope in your case still this no matter what I and many people can say, I think that this is better existing than if you just scraped it all and only released the final episode. Never mind how much I can say about this, how it can be improved. I still enjoy playing, so I don't know, it's a good thing you released it even in a state that many people would consider not really like well done.
And the advantage of these levels is it's not like they're very, very large levels that you have to spend hours and hours in. They're very quick to play, so if you hate them, you can just finish them in a couple minutes.
Well, I don't think people would do like, if they hate a level, I don't think they will just hope that it's short and try to finish it. So most people will just rage quit. They looked at something and kind of, this is completely shit, I'm not going to waste my time.
That's true, but you have that in every single game, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, that's true. So I think we have been lingering after the point where I said that I was going to stop a little too much again, but I can't. There's like so much to talk about around here, and there's really no discussion in the thread, sadly. But since I opened it, I looked at the similar threads and noticed that they also really don't have such discussions, so I'm not really as disappointed as I was. But still, really, I always like want to talk about this stuff, and I don't have like many people or places where I would like have long enough discussions for my tastes about this kind of things. So I'm often tempted to just waste time running around a room and talk with people about all this stuff, because it's really fascinating to me. But I'm trying to better my Let's Plays from the perspective of someone who is actually going to watch it, so not just making it for the fun of recording and talking with people. making it also with the fact that they're going to be watched later in mind. That's something I have to remember. Someone is actually watching this. Can you believe it? I wanted to start this Let's Play by saying this series, this episode, damn it. I was thinking of starting it by saying instead of like hi everyone or whatever I said, I wanted to say hello Katamori and welcome back to Let's Play DTS-T. But then I remembered that there's like another person in the thread who also said that he is watching this, so that wouldn't really work. But still, Katamori is like the most prominent. He's commenting and talking to me about this much more than anyone else, so that would be kind of funny. Too bad I spoiled the idea, so it can't work next time, damn it. But I tend to do that. So yeah, let's wrap this up again. I'm just going to, in editing, I'm going to once again put the text on screen when we finish that level, that the remaining all the remaining time of this video is spent walking around places you've already seen and talking about stuff you're probably not interested in, so you can stop watching right now. But yeah, and that's my excuse for doing this. So to cut this finally, goodbye everyone, goodbye Katamori, goodbye the second person, which I also can't pronounce, Punk, something like that, I think it was his username on the world. And see you maybe in a couple days, because on the weekend I'm going to record this Hypocat probably.
Bye-bye from me as well. Hope you enjoyed the beginning of the chapter.
Yeah, it was an interesting beginning and an interesting chapter that I was interested in. You know what, I wanted to say it when we were playing it, but I forgot, of course. I think the level text in the intro mentioned like the space station being dedicated to studying some like strange things from deep space or something like that. And to be honest, I was really looking forward to like something really like sci-fi, crazy, fantastic, like some anomaly of, or like the monolith from 2001, Doom Odyssey, Space Odyssey, damn it, or like stuff like that. But we just kind of walked through some sewers. But I don't know, whatever the future may bring, I mean, you couldn't leave the theme of a space station dedicated to deep space, interesting things, research. You couldn't leave that thing completely unexplored, could you?
Well, you will see. Just wait and see what happens.
So yeah, I'm waiting with bated breath for the next levels of this chapter, because it was probably so far of the 3 episodes, it was like the most intriguing for me. I was most looking forward to, from the purely what I'm going to see in the levels perspective. So yeah, I'm looking forward, and thankfully I don't have to wait too much longer till the next recording. So yeah, see you guys on the weekends, and well, wherever after that you decide to watch this video, because people might watch it after the weekends, so that doesn't really apply, really, see you on the weekend. But whatever, see you, goodbye, until the next episode.